Hello and welcome to this short introduction into the digiFLUX API. My name's Andreas Kyriakou and I was involved in the project as a business analyst. For a third-party system to make use of the digiFLUX API, some preparatory steps are necessary. The owner of that third-party system has to request a technical user, which will then be granted read and write access to the stock of the company. A stock from a sender perspective is basically the location from where deliveries to customers are sent out. And before the tech user can be configured, the stock has to be opened in digiFLUX through the digiFLUX UI by the owner of that stock or location. But once all that is done and the tech user has been configured, we're set to go. Whenever a third-party system wants to make use of the API, the first step then is to authenticate itself. So with the credentials of that tech user, the first call is to this rGate authentication system, and rGate will return a token. And with that token, then a series of API calls can be made. The token has a timeout, but usually a single authentication will be enough for a whole series of API calls. The overall process is always the same. First, authenticate yourself and then send the post or get or whatever request to digiFLUX. For shipments, there are post, put and delete services available, and that basically is to create, to update or to delete a shipment. The post service is the most complex one and probably will be the one most widely used. With a post service, you notify digiFLUX about a shipment that has taken place. The put service is for the recipient if they too want to control the digiFLUX entries that are relevant to them via an API. So, say a farmer who uses a farm management info system that has an integration with digiFLUX can either accept or reject shipments by having their third-party system send out put notifications to either accept or reject a shipment. The delete service is there if something went wrong with submitting a shipment. Within a timescale of 2 minutes, you can send out a delete call for a shipment that you submitted, and then it will actually be deleted from the system. So the recipient will never see that you falsely submitted a shipment. Now, the individual calls, they obviously differ in detail. And to see the exact way an endpoint has to be used, what kind of schemas are involved, so what kind of complex attributes there are, best is to use the OpenAPI file in a platform like Swagger. You can, of course, use Postman or Bruno or whatever tool that might be in use in your environment. And there you can see the full details. All the attributes are also described, of course, in our GitHub page. And apart from post, put, and delete, there are, of course, also statements to retrieve information. So if you want to find out what shipments you have already sent to digiFLUX, you can use a get service. The first one is to receive a set of product shipments. You use the get service together with a set of search parameters, and anything that matches your filter criteria will come back as a set of shipments. The second way to use get is to just add an ID to the URL. An ID in digiFLUX always consists of two elements, the source system and the actual ID. That is explained in further detail elsewhere. And this get service then obviously will return just the details of that one record with the ID you specified. There's also a set of API services which are not about shipments but about stocks. And one which you will need to use in the context of submitting shipments is the one to get the details of a specific stock. And that's mainly for one specific reason. Normally, you want to identify the recipient of a shipment with their technical ID that is used within digiFLUX. And that's this DFLID, which stands for digiFLUX Local Unit ID. Normally, you should be able to obtain a DFLID for any stock, i.e. for any delivery address of any of your customers through this service. What this service does in the end, it calls a service from the Federal Office of Statistics, who maintain a database of all Swiss companies and all their localities. In the majority of cases, your recipients will have exactly one digiFLUX. It's just where they are located. Sometimes, however, it can be that under the same company umbrella, you have more than one location, and then you should be specifying for a shipment where exactly it was delivered to. And you should use the delivery address and not just the company HQ address. To assist you a bit in familiarizing yourself with the APIs, we've created 2 shell scripts, one which showcases basically an end-to-end business process of a shipment. And what this script does is it authenticates itself as a sender with one tech user and as a recipient with another tech user. And then it submits a shipment as the sender, and then the script waits for 2 minutes. And that's just because this is this time frame within which a delivery can be deleted without the recipient receiving a notification that this new delivery has been submitted to digiFLUX. Once those 2 minutes are over, the script uses the credentials of the second user and submits a put to accept the delivery. And then it switches back to the first tech user and then checks the state of that delivery as the sender. To the right, you can see a sample output. If you want more details, you can use the verbose mode, and then you will get more information what exactly was submitted. And you can also call the service in the dry run mode. Then it just mocks the HTTP calls. And then there's a script to showcase how digiFLUX works. And it's just a simple case. We give it the search criterion name equals BLW for Bundesamt für Landwirtschaft, obviously. And then the system should return any stocks with BLW in the name, and there should be 2 hits. So the return structure will consist of 2 stocks descriptions. Finally, here you can see all the resources that are available to you. You can download the OpenAPI files, both for transactions, which includes shipments, and for stocks. You can see them in visualized form in a Swagger portal. Then there's a lot of information on GitHub. And finally, there's a link to those 2 scripts. They are integrated into the GitHub portal. That's it. Have a go at using the API. The digiFLUX team is obviously there to support you. Thanks for listening and happy programming.